Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Julie Delpy is a French-American actress, filmmaker, screenwriter, and singer whose work bridges European art cinema and Hollywood storytelling with rare intelligence and emotional depth. Born on December 21, 1969, in Paris, France, Delpy was practically raised in the world of art and performance. Her parents, Albert Delpy and Marie Pillet, were both actors deeply involved in the French avant-garde theater scene. This early exposure to creativity and political expression helped shape Delpy's distinctive voice as both an artist and intellectual. She was discovered at the age of 14 by director Jean-Luc Godard, who cast her in his 1985 film Détective. From there, Delpy quickly became one of France's most promising young actresses, appearing in films such as The Passion of Beatrice, 1987, Europa Europa, 1990, and The Three Musketeers, 1993. However, it was her breakout role as Céline in Richard Linklater's Before Sunrise, 1995, that made her an international star. The Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, 1995, Before Sunset, 2004, and Before Midnight, 2013, became one of cinema's most acclaimed explorations of love, time, and human connection. Delpy co-wrote the latter two films with Linklater and co-star Ethan Hawke, earning Academy Award nominations for Best Adapted Screenplay. Her portrayal of Céline, sharp, funny, idealistic, and flawed, resonated deeply with audiences and critics alike, marking her as one of the most authentic voices of her generation. Delpy's talents extend well beyond acting. She wrote, directed, and starred in 2 Days in Paris, 2007, and its sequel 2 Days in New York, 2012, both acclaimed for their witty, neurotic dissection of cross-cultural relationships and modern love. Her other directorial efforts, including The Countess, 2009, Lolo, 2015, and My Zoe, 2019, reveal her as a bold and introspective filmmaker unafraid to tackle complex themes of gender, motherhood, and mortality. In addition to her cinematic achievements, Delpy is also a trained musician and composer. She released a self-titled music album in 2003, which included songs featured in Before Sunset and 2 Days in Paris. Her voice, both literally and artistically, embodies the blend of romanticism and realism that defines her body of work. Known for her sharp wit, feminist insight, and refusal to conform to Hollywood's expectations, Julie Delpy has become a singular figure in contemporary cinema. She navigates between cultures, languages, and creative roles with ease, proving that artistry can be both intimate and universal. Whether in front of the camera or behind it, she remains an enduring voice for intelligent, emotional, and deeply human storytelling. Julie Delpy's career and personality are marked by a rare mix of artistic sophistication, biting humor, and emotional honesty. She has built a reputation for fearlessly exploring subjects that many filmmakers shy away from: aging, feminism, motherhood, and the imperfections of love, with both intellect and vulnerability. After moving to the United States in the early 1990s, Delpy studied filmmaking at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, where she began writing and directing short films. Her dual cultural identity as both French and American would later become one of her artistic hallmarks. In her work, she often examines the tensions between European and American values, men and women, and idealism and practicality. Her directorial debut, Looking for Jimmy, 2002, hinted at her thematic preoccupations: alienation, urban disconnection, and the search for meaning in modern relationships. But it was 2 Days in Paris, 2007, that fully established her as a filmmaker of wit and substance. starring opposite Adam Goldberg. The film follows a French-American couple's chaotic visit to Paris, where cultural misunderstandings and jealousy come to the surface. Delpy's script brims with neurotic humor and philosophical reflections, reminiscent of Woody Allen but with a distinctly female and European perspective. The film also featured her real-life parents, adding an autobiographical layer. In 2 Days in New York, 2012, Delpy reprised her role as Marion, this time opposite Chris Rock. The sequel pushed her satirical eye even further, portraying cultural clashes and family chaos with irreverent humor. Critics praised her ability to balance emotional insight with comedic absurdity, proving her strength as both writer and director. Her 2009 film The Countess marked a darker turn, dramatizing the life of Elizabeth Báthory, the 16th-century Hungarian noblewoman accused of bathing in the blood of virgins to preserve her youth. Delpy not only wrote and directed the film but also starred as Báthory, offering a feminist reinterpretation of the legend, exploring how obsession with beauty and power can destroy a woman in a patriarchal society. In Lolo, 2015, she turned her lens toward generational conflict and maternal possessiveness, while her later film My Zoe, 2019, tackled grief, science, and ethics in a haunting story about a mother's desperate attempt to save her child through experimental cloning. These films showed her evolution from romantic storyteller to profound moral thinker. Delpy has spoken openly about the challenges women face in the film industry, particularly as writer-directors. Despite her accolades, she has often remarked that financing her films remains difficult, especially when they center on women or unconventional stories. She once said, "Men can make mediocre movies and get another chance. A woman makes one flop, and she's done." This frankness has earned her respect as a candid voice for gender equality in cinema. In interviews, Delpy often reflects on her philosophical outlook, deeply humanist, skeptical of fame, and allergic to pretense. She rejects Hollywood's obsession with youth and beauty, preferring authenticity and emotional depth. Her performances, often raw and unvarnished, mirror her real-life personality, intellectual, self-aware, occasionally caustic, but always deeply compassionate. Julie Delpy's artistic legacy lies in her ability to merge humor with heartbreak, intellect with emotion, and arthouse sensibilities with universal themes. Whether she's conversing about love on a Viennese train in Before Sunrise or dissecting modern neuroses in 2 Days in Paris, she reminds audiences that life's beauty often lies in its contradictions. Julie Delpy's collaboration with Richard Linklater and Ethan Hawke on the Before trilogy is one of the most remarkable creative partnerships in modern cinema, a decades-long exploration of love, identity, and the passage of time that grew and evolved alongside its creators. When Before Sunrise premiered in 1995, it introduced audiences to Céline, Delpy, and Jesse, Hawke, two strangers who meet on a train and spend a single night wandering through Vienna, sharing stories, fears, and dreams. What made the film so powerful wasn't just its romantic premise, but its intimacy, two people connecting through words and ideas rather than dramatic events. Delpy's natural intelligence and charm shaped Céline into something more than a romantic ideal. She became a fully realized woman, curious, passionate, politically aware, and real. Nearly a decade later, Before Sunset, 2004, revisited the pair in Paris. This time, Delpy co-wrote the screenplay with Hawke and Linklater, infusing it with her own voice and life experience. The dialogue, sharp, reflective, tinged with regret, feels almost autobiographical. And that's part of the film's brilliance. Delpy's perspective, both as a writer and performer, deepened the emotional texture, giving Céline a maturity and complexity rarely seen in romantic cinema. She even contributed several songs to the soundtrack, including A Waltz for a Night, written from Céline's perspective. By the time Before Midnight arrived in 2013, Delpy, Hawk, and Linklater were no longer simply collaborators, they were co-authors of a living cinematic experiment about love over time. The film found Céline and Jesse in middle age, grappling with domestic frustration, parenthood, and the fading glow of their youthful idealism. Delpy's fearless performance, raw, angry, and heartbreakingly honest, was hailed as one of the best of her career. The film earned the trio their second Oscar nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. Off-screen, Delpy has spoken about how the Before films mirror her own life in subtle ways. Her skepticism toward romantic myths, her feminist values, her reflections on aging and authenticity. She has said that what makes the films enduring is their truthfulness. Love isn't a fairy tale, it's work, it's compromise, it's doubt. But it's also what gives life meaning. Beyond the trilogy, Delpy's influence as a feminist filmmaker cannot be overstated. Long before Hollywood's recent reckoning with gender inequality, she was already vocal about the systemic barriers facing women directors. She often turned down roles that reduced women to stereotypes and instead wrote her own complex female characters, neurotic, witty, vulnerable, and real. In interviews, she has criticized the double standards that persist in the industry. After Before Midnight, she revealed that she was paid significantly less than her male collaborators on earlier films, despite her equal contribution. Her openness about pay disparity and sexism earned her both admiration and backlash, but she has remained steadfast. If I don't speak, nothing will change. I've never been afraid to lose work for saying what I believe. Her feminism is not abstract, it's embedded in her storytelling. Delpy's women are intellectuals, lovers, mothers, and rebels. They question everything, from romantic illusions to social conventions, and their flaws are treated as marks of humanity, not weakness. Today, Julie Delpy stands as one of the few multi-hyphenate artists, writer, director, actor, musician, who has consistently balanced art and introspection, humor and melancholy. She has refused to be defined by any one culture, language, or genre, instead creating a body of work that reflects the emotional complexity of modern life. Whether crafting a searing relationship drama or an offbeat comedy, she brings to every project a singular blend of insight and authenticity. Julie Delpy is, in every sense, an auteur, an artist who turns the ordinary into the profoundly human. Julie Delpy's early life offers deep insight into the artist she became, intellectual, rebellious, and perpetually questioning the structures around her. Born in Paris in 1969, she grew up immersed in an atmosphere of art, politics, and free thought. Her parents, Albert Delpy and Marie Pillet, were active in the Parisian avant-garde theater scene, both associated with experimental and politically charged productions. Her mother, in particular, was part of the feminist movement of the 1970s. And her activism left a lasting mark on Delpy's worldview. Raised in a creative, bohemian household, Julie was encouraged to express herself through art and conversation rather than rules or conformity. She has often said that her childhood was filled with debates about philosophy, film, and politics. By the age of 7, she was already exposed to theater and filmmaking, often observing her parents perform or rehearse. These formative experiences instilled in her a natural comfort with performance and an awareness of the complexities of human behavior. At just 14, her life took a pivotal turn when she was discovered by legendary director Jean-Luc Godard. He cast her in Détective, 1985, introducing her to the world of cinema at a time when French film was still grappling with the legacy of the new wave. Working with Godard was a crash course in artistic rigor and existential thinking. Delpy later admitted that while she didn't fully understand Godard's abstract style at that young age, the experience shaped her sense of filmmaking as an intellectual and philosophical endeavor. Through the late 1980s and early 1990s, Delpy appeared in a range of European films, steadily earning recognition for her poise and talent. She starred in The Passion of Beatrice, 1987, for director Bertrand Tavernier, where her intense performance as a medieval noblewoman demonstrated a dramatic depth far beyond her years. The international success of Europa Europa, 1990, in which she played a young woman involved with a boy hiding his Jewish identity during World War II, further solidified her as a star of international cinema. However, rather than pursuing fame in the French mainstream, Delpy set her sights on the broader world. She moved to the United States in the early 1990s, eager to learn more about directing and screenwriting. She enrolled at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, where she studied filmmaking, a rare move for a successful European actress at the time. Her studies there deepened her understanding of narrative structure and cinematic language, giving her the foundation to eventually write and direct her own films. Despite finding work in Hollywood productions like Killing Zoe, 1993, and The Three Musketeers, 1993, Delpy often expressed discomfort with the way American cinema treated women. She found most scripts limiting, with female characters written as accessories to male heroes. This frustration later motivated.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.